The history of Roblox Bedwars clans explained, I guess. It all starts off back in 2021 during the game's release. At the time, there was only 3 game modes out and all you could do was grind wins. And when I say grind wins, I mean grind wins. There wasn't ranked, there wasn't BCA, and there weren't any massive tournaments every other week. You basically just got on the game and started farming wins. And because of that, a lot of the early competitive scene was just made up of big friend groups. You'd have a bunch of good players at each other, queue together, and spend hours trying to get as many wins as possible. And if you were really good, you would eventually start showing up on the monthly wins leaderboard, which back then was basically the closest thing we had to a competitive leaderboard. But then, people started forming clans. And this is where things started getting interesting. Some of the first clans to really become known were LZ, 123, and G-Dogs. And once people started seeing these clans around, other players in Useverse obviously wanted in. So you started seeing clans like Sus, Mini, DV, or Tinkor, and a bunch of others popping up. And remember, at this point, all of these clans were still mainly focused on grinding monthly wins. So every once in a while, you'd actually run into another clan while queuing OG squads. And when that happened, you already knew that game was about to be sweaty. In fact, this shows Million, one of the OG founders of G-Dog's clan, 1v4ing LZ clan in an OG squad's Bedwars match. And as you can see, bro, the chat was going crazy. The clans would continue grinding monthly wins. But on August 5th, 2021, everything changed.
Custom match update.
The Bedwars devs added custom matches, and this was huge. Because now, clans could actually set up their own games and face each other whenever they wanted. There was no more hoping you would randomly queue into another clan. You could get both clans together, set up the teams, and just run it. And this is where clan wars really started becoming a thing. Clans could finally prove who was actually better, and once people realized this, it didn't take long for clan tournaments to start popping up. Clans were organizing their own matches, communities, and were hosting tournaments, and eventually you'd had entire servers dedicated to competitive Bedwars. And this is where UCA came into the picture. This server gave clans a place to compete, keep track of their results, and fight for spots on the competitive leaderboard. So now, you had clan wars and clan rankings, basically an actual competitive scene. Bedwars was no longer just about who could grind the most wins. Now, you had something to prove. And later on, DV Plays, which I'm pretty sure you guys all know who that is, took things even further. He hosted what would become one of the biggest Bedwars clan tournaments at the time. The tournament had a $1,400 prize pool, and a crazy amount of clans signed up for it. We're talking about 128 clans. Damn! And this tournament really brought out the competitive side of Bedwars. A lot of really good clans at the time competed, like DV, Sen, G-Dogs, LZ, and many more. So you had some of the best clans in the game all competing against each other in one tournament. And this is where you really started to see how big the Bedwars competitive scene was becoming. The video playing showed some of the best highlights from the tournament. Now we all know that only one clan was coming home with that money, and the winner was G-Dogs. But the craziest part was the finals. Million literally 1v2'd them. Roll the clip.
I appreciate you for correcting me. And that would be PG's bed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. DV, me too, bro. I had the exact same reaction back then. I was shocked. But obviously, with the competitive scene this big, there was bound to be some beef. UCA started having its own issues and drama between clans and the people running the scene. And eventually, all of this led to the creation of BCA. BCA was created by players of the UCA, and it basically became another competitive hub for clans with its own leaderboards, clan wars, PvP rankings, and all that good stuff. While all of this was going on, G-Dogs was still out there doing their thing. And yeah, they ended up winning the second DV clan tournament as well. So at this point, G-Dogs had already won 2 DV tournaments, which was pretty insane.
BCA.
As BCA became more popular, it was basically the birth of a whole new generation of clans. This is where you started seeing names like VA, ZT, RG, IPS, TZ, MR, and Alright Clan, and more of these that started taking over the scene. These weren't just random clans either. A lot of them would go on to become some of the best clans and most recognizable clans in all of competitive Bedwars.
They've just split.
Now they're where you got like it. They're where you got like
Hurry
it.
up and recollect. Nice one.
Just split. Oh my god, GG.
Nice.
Kill them all, kill them all.
Nice.
You got two. You got two. One. You got one.
There were honestly so many players and clans during this era. I don't even think I'd be able to fit all of them into this video. But besides all of that, there was one last major tournament that I have to talk about. It was hosted by a well-known Bedwars creator, it's Matty. And this tournament had a 1 million Robux prize pool. And here's how the finals played out. On the DV side, you had Cat, ABC Dino, Finland, and Kyrie. And on the VA side, you had Pugs, Surf, Existence, and Blue. So you had 2 absolutely stacked teams facing each other for 1 million Robux. Let's just roll the clip and see how things went.
DV is just ganging them up and healing. There's only 2 VAs left. One is really high up and oh my god, he just took so much damage. He needs to be careful. He just took a lot of damage. And he's getting slapped up right now. Pugs is in trouble. And Pugs killed, the last one being Existence. Oh no, I think DV just might have won the game. Will DV be taking the 1 million Robux? There's only 1 player left. And what are the results? Will there be a kill from Existence? Will there be a kill from DV?
Let there be a comeback.
And Team DV will be winning 1 million Robux. They just took 1 million Robux in the bag. It will be divided between all 4 players. Each one will be getting 250k with tax included.
And with that, DV won the tournament, and things pretty much started going back to normal. Players went back to playing ranked, doing clan wars, and just doing what they normally did. That was until a familiar clan reappeared and started rising back to glory. RA clan, led by Kaisu, and at this point, they were quite literally belting everyone.
If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself on feet by himself.
Vaughn gave me a lot of passes. He could have killed me a couple times.
Like if you were in a top clan at this time, you were not safe. Back to the timeline. Sadly, later on, Kaisu announced that he was quitting Bedwars, which pretty much caused RA to fall off, and besides that, there was a lot of controversy going on. G-Dogs, a former glorious clan, ended up leaving BCA along with a lot of other players. There were also situations like Existence being exposed for closet cheating. After all this controversy started to die down, clan wars and clans in Bedwars honestly just became stale. There wasn't really much happening anymore. People either focused on ranked or just quit the game and went on their own ways. And this is also why I think OG comp is often forgotten. A lot of people look at the new generation of Bedwars and don't realize how much of it was built off of what the old players were doing. OG comp basically laid the foundation for what we have today. A lot of the strategies, techniques, and even the ways players approach competitive Bedwars came from these older players. Even the main tier 1 strategy you'd see in rank can be traced back to things old players were already experimenting with. And over time, these strategies got improved, passed down, and made the game way more fast-paced. There were also a lot of players who weren't necessarily crazy known back then, but as time went on, they started getting the recognition they deserved. Players like Yo Wavy, Cat, and Godlike are good examples of this. They might not have been the biggest names during the early days, but as the competitive scene developed, their names became a lot more recognized. So even though a lot of the OG players and clans are forgotten now, their impact definitely isn't. They basically helped build the competitive Bedwars that the newer generation plays today. And that brings me back to the question, who do you personally think was the best clan in Bedwars? Some OGs say G-Dogs, some say LZ, some say RA, some say RG, and so many more. But
I guess we'll never know.